Hi everyone, my name is Brett Pugach. My wife is Debbie Pugach, some of you know her, and we joined in 2018 and started. I was asked to give a few words about ECE in particular. I like to say we were part of the inaugural full day class. So we started in the inchworms with my daughter. She was probably 3 months old, I think, when we first started. Maybe it was 4 months old. She was very little, and I remember our initial interview. We came in and we spoke with Jill and we spoke with Miss Margie, and we were like, wow, this is such a welcoming atmosphere, and this is the place we want to be. I think we were like the second family. Is that right, Jill? I think we were like the second family that signed up. And so, let's see. Kind of flash forward a little bit, and my daughter is in the drafts class, the kindergarten class, and she is going to be graduating next week. So something we're super excited about. I also have a son, Xander. He started in inchworms as well, and he's going to be graduating from the llamas class and coming back next year. So, I remember when we first started, I think there were quite a few days that it was about maybe, I think we started at 6 o'clock back then in the morning. Or 7, I'm sorry. We're up early. So it was probably quite a few days. It was 6:59 and we were banging on the door and we were like, we have no help at home and we just, we can use some help. And so, what we realized quickly, though, is that ECE was so much more than just a daycare. And so it's really been a home for our family. And it's been our home since Morgan was born and been our home for the last 6 years. And so it's really amazing to see, not only how much our kids have grown, but what kind of impact ECE has on our family. I mean, I look at some of our closest friends, and it's people that are in the daycare class, and people now that we've known for years. I think Alyssa's in the room here somewhere, and where's Ariel? And there's probably others I don't see, but so it's really great to have grown up in the community. We've been through good times together, all of us, and through COVID times, and we made it through everything. And all along the way, ECE has instilled a sense of community and been a source of continuity during a time that's otherwise had a lot of changes. And so if I could just talk a little bit about the education, the education is really top notch, that our children, are receiving. Morgan and Xander and Debbie and I have loved every single teacher that we've had. And that's not just like a figure of speech. Like, all of them have just been absolutely terrific and had a huge impact on our kids. Morgan loves to do everything. She literally just loves everything, and especially art and especially reading. It was her birthday on Monday, and my wife came in to read to the class. That's one of the things that you do. And Morgan was like, I'm going to read to the class. And so she read the story to the class, and I was like, wow, she's really just doing so well. And so not only is she learning, but she's excited to learn, and that's a formula for success, and we have ECE to thank for that. It's really nice. She's starting first grade. She's going to go to public school in Scotch Plains, and we just have no concerns about whether or not she's going to be prepared. And so that's a testament to everything that ECE has been from an educational perspective. But education at ECE goes beyond just kind of your academic education, and it includes your Jewish education. I think one of the reasons a lot of parents like to go to a temple for daycare is that there'll be a sense of Jewish values and Jewish culture that gets taught. Now, I'm 38 years old. I've met many Jews in my life. There is no one in the entire world that loves Judaism more than my son Xander. He'll be 3 tomorrow. Now, when I say love Judaism, he doesn't just love it internally. He's very vocal about it. And when I say vocal, I don't mean just talking about it. I mean singing about it. His favorite song is Bim Bam, and he's on track to be a cantor one day. Now, when I say singing, I don't mean necessarily in the privacy of our home. I mean that when we go to Trader Joe's and put him in the shopping cart and he takes his fake guitar with him, he belts out Dayenu as loud as he can to unsuspecting customers that pass him. So really between the academic education and the Jewish education, it's just been a tremendous experience. You know, we're so happy with the experience we've had at ECE. We can't wait to see what this solid foundation will mean as we go on to public school and as we continue on here. And so I want to say a heartfelt thank you to Jill, to Rabbi Prosnit, and to Cantor Goldman, and to everyone else that makes it this incredible experience. I just want to say thank you for building a community and a family that we could be a part of. Thank you.
Brett, thank you so much for sharing. The future president of the congregation there you've got. I'd like to invite Max Mizell to come up. Max, what's up? Let's go on.
All right. Thank you for choosing me to speak here today. Temple Emanu-El has impacted this past year for me in many ways. The temple has helped me succeed in my bar mitzvah, has brought fun experiences on Wednesday night Hebrew school, and has been fun going to my peers' bar/bat mitzvah services. The most important way Temple Emanu-El has impacted me is by putting me on track to accomplish the most important thing of my lifetime so far, my bar mitzvah. My teachers have been incredibly helpful and caring. I could not have accomplished what I did without Temple Emanu-El. One of my favorite parts of this experience was my mitzvah project. The temple created the idea from the Jewish Federation to interview a Holocaust survivor. I was then able to share my story with my social studies class in school, my extended family on a Zoom call, and with the 6th and 7th graders at a Wednesday night class. It was such a great experience for me. No one really knows what to expect during their mitzvah year. However, thanks to Temple Emanu-El, I have been very successful and organized. This has been an amazing year and a great experience. Thank you.
Oh, Max, I also meant to mention to you that I met my wife Marley here at Hebrew school. You never know who you're going to meet, your spouse. There's no pressure with that, I'm sure you. I'm looking around now. Kaylee Arbitsman. Kaylee, are you here? There you are. Hi, Kaylee. I feel like we should have music playing. Hi, Kaylee. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Hi. Got a couple notes, but thank you for inviting me to speak. My name is Kaylee Arbitsman, and I joined the community just over a year ago. And what I find to be amazing is that I can look around here and have had one-on-one conversations with the majority of the people in this room, which I think is absolutely amazing. A little bit about me, I was raised with no religion, very proud to be Jewish, but very quiet about it. We lived in a town that had very few Jews, and I was always kind of told that's what you are, but don't talk about it a lot. And I recognize now in the era that we're living in that I can really relate to that, and I think my grandparents were kind of smart about it. But I also am now living in a community where there are a lot more people that are Jewish, and it feels really nice to be a whole lot more comfortable with talking about it and being here. And I have to say that we initially joined Temple Emanu-El so that our kids can have bat mitzvahs. I have a 9-year-old, she just turned 9 last week, and a 5.5-year-old. And Ayla and Addie are just really happy to come here every week. We have sort of made a tradition of coming every Friday on Shabbat. I don't know how many of you have seen us here. One of my children may have accidentally crashed into you all. I'm so sorry. But what I will say is that I hear them singing L'Chadodi in the shower. There was a Am Yisrael Chai song singing in Home Goods, which was quite interesting and fun. You know, like, it's very much become a part of our day-to-day life in a way that is really, really nice. And I will say that I'm an anxious person, if you know me. I like to plan, I like to be, detail-oriented. And I will say that coming here every Friday when we can gives me this breath of fresh air. Every week you say, take a deep breath in before we light the candles. And I really do that, and it really feels great. And so all of this is to say that essentially I didn't expect any of this. I joined thinking that we would just do the religious school and that they would be on track to have their bat mitzvahs. And it has become so much more, where we have done a lot of volunteering. We've done a lot of, we did the wine and cheese. My husband walked into a sea of women and was like, oh my goodness, why am I here? And I was like, I don't think it was just a sisterhood thing. I'm so happy to see all of my friends here. But he was one of 2 men, and so it was quite interesting. But it was a fantastic event, and we want to do more of those. And I think that just coming here and feeling so comfortable, I don't necessarily feel embarrassed about not knowing all of the traditions yet. I'm learning. I did the Joshua Project, and I learned a lot there, and I met a lot of people. And I will say that there's a ease and a relaxation here that I haven't quite felt anywhere else, and it feels really nice to have that. And the event that kind of hooked me into doing more was the challah class. There was a Shannon Sarna challah class that happened probably 2 days after you joined. 2 days after I joined. And I'm a home baker. I'm quite competitive with myself, where I watch Bake Off and then I try to execute those bakes at home the next week. It's not, my husband doesn't love all the ingredient purchases, but that's okay. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, fine. I know I just joined. I thought we were going to do the religious school, but I'll do the challah class. And then after that, it kind of went into, okay, well, why don't you show how to braid the challah? And so I volunteered with someone else to do that. And then the next thing I know, I'm hosting a babka class where I'm making, I think I made 16 babka recipes with you, Jackie. And my heater, the wedding gift that I got for the KitchenAid was overheating to the point that you were there, the smoke was starting to I was like, I need to give her a little break. I'll come back the next day and I will finish the last 2, but all of this was I logged off from work a little bit early. My boss thought I had a meeting, it was great. And I will say though that it was so rewarding because we had people from all generations there engaged in, rolling the dough out and filling it, and we ran out of chocolate, and so then I had to make some more chocolate sauce, and it was great though. Everyone seemed to have fun. Got some pictures of people baking it in their ovens, and it was just so rewarding and nice. And then they were like, so you're gonna do, the Hamadasha next? And I was like, well, let's just take a little break here. I just need to, get my work schedule right. But either, I'm going on a tangent, but ultimately to say is that I love my time here. I'm excited for what's to come, and I love the fact that my kids feel comfortable here. We kind of have a Friday night routine where we go to Shabbat, pick them up a little bit early, I log off from work early, and then we gorge ourselves on the pre-neg, and then the kids eat popcorn and a movie before bed, and it's the perfect way to start the weekend. And I'm so thankful that I get to have that with my kids and my husband and my family and all of you, and it's just really nice to be here. So I'm very thankful.
Kaylee, we're so fortunate to have you as a member of our community. Thanks so much for sharing that. I'm really pleased to invite Evan Landa up. Evan, I saw you.
Do you have my pie chart?
We'll work on it.
So I wasn't expecting this many people here. I thought it was going to be 10, 15 people in a small office or something voting on a budget. But I guess once again, I'm very, very surprised and very thankful for everything the last year. And I guess we could start. I'll start from let's start from Rosh Hashanah from last year. And I remember being at the family service, and it was a beautiful, sunny day, and I had my in-laws there, my kids were there, all the kids were playing afterwards, and it felt like the start of what was going to be this amazing, beautiful year. Unfortunately, we all know the utter tumult that we've been going through since October 7th, and this place has been very much, I would say, my rock in many ways since that happened. Whether it was the first Shabbat afterwards, which was one of the few times I think my whole family cried together. And just seeing how many people have been so involved, so supportive, how united this community has been and how united it still remains, how much support there's been from the clergy, also how many just amazing things we've done over the last year, whether it was the Shabbat right after October 7th or going with Ethan to the march in Washington in November. I know we had Allison Cohen doing so many amazing things here as well for the hostages, whether it's the yellow ribbons that we see outside the temple or the milk carton, the Nova screening presentation that we saw a couple weeks ago. Also, of course, the temple trip that we did to Israel, the mission to Israel, that I can't thank Elliot enough for that, mainly because I feel like the 3.5 days or less that we were there, I probably saw more of Israel in that than any trip I've been in, that some of those were over 6-7 weeks, getting to meet so many different people. And it's also it's just so amazing to see how many people are deeply involved, deeply committed, deeply love this community. I got to meet people at the Joshua Project and see that there's so many people with so many unique and individual talents that they were able to bring to the table, and that they want to be involved and they want to stay committed, and that they love their Judaism, they love the Jewish people, they love this community, and that they want to contribute. And of course, I also want to thank clergy. Thank you, Cantor Goldman, for hearing my spiel before, of course, and then also helping me read Torah for the first time since my bar mitzvah, which was amazing a couple weeks ago. So just wanted to keep it short, but I really just want to say thank you to everyone, and I'm amazed by this community, and I'm very glad to be a part of it.
And lastly, I'd like to invite up Marty Ehrman. Hey, Marty.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the clergy for inviting me to speak this evening and to share my story. So my name is Marty Ehrman. I've been a Temple member here since 1997, so quite a while. As you can see, I don't have anything digital. So up until 2023, I mostly attended services on high holidays and the occasional Shabbat service. I have boy-girl twins. They had their B'nai Mitzvah here in 2005, and also attended confirmation class following that. So I'd like to share a little bit of my story, how I became involved with volunteering here and what the temple has meant to me since becoming more active. So what I do actually is I help to lead Shiva minions. It's been a really rewarding experience. So I grew up in an observant family that belonged to a conservative congregation in the Bronx. My parents were very involved in the synagogue, and I found that although religion always remained important to me, I became more distant. I didn't feel connected to the shul anymore as it was, later high school and then going off to college, even though I always kept up with all the family traditions. So this changed for me actually at the time that my mother passed away in 1991. My father passed away 3 years after that. I had always had a strong interest in the power and the comfort of sitting Shiva. To me, it was a process that signified a continuing connection with God and with my family. I am a clinical psychologist by training, and I thought perhaps there are ways that I could bring comfort to others at these difficult times, and wondered about maybe getting involved in helping out during the Shiva process. So this is really back in the 90s when I first had the thought. However, the synagogues that my wife and I belonged to previously did not offer such an avenue. Also, I was raising a family and the workload of my job. I really had little free time, but also I was probably kind of ambivalent about exactly where I, wanted to go there. I wasn't sure that I would, ready to make the religious and the internal commitment that it required. So fast forward to 2022 when I retired. COVID conditions had improved. Looked for ways to occupy my newfound free time. So I thought volunteering at the temple would be a great thing to do, but it had to feel like it was something meaningful. So as fate would have it, shortly thereafter, there was a notice in the temple bulletin that was asking for volunteers to help lead Shiva minions. I took this as a sign from God that it was time to engage my interests that had gone back really 30 years. So I met with Cantor Goldman one evening to discuss what leading Shiva minions would entail. And her encouragement and warmth made me feel that I feel comfortable and supported in this endeavor. I felt assured that my lack of not having an operatic voice would not be an impediment to doing this. So I began my involvement in leading Shiva minions in 2023, and I've increased the number of minions that I lead along the way. It's a volunteer activity I enjoy doing, although it's one job where you hope to not get a lot of business. So leading Shiva minions has been one of the most meaningful activities that I have ever engaged in. I believe that I'm able to bring solace to those I engage with at a most difficult time. It's a true honor to be of assistance to others and gives me quite a sense of satisfaction. In addition, people always look to send me home with cookies or cake. So that's an added bonus. For some mourners, it's helping them to engage in the important traditions and religious observances that acknowledge the role of Judaism in their lives and that of their loved ones who've passed. For others, it becomes a way of really making a connection with their Jewish soul and all that may have meant in the past and what it could mean going forward. Being able to help facilitate this is very rewarding for me. I think my involvement has also helped me to solidify my religious and spiritual identity, which has led to some other change in my activity. So since beginning this volunteer work, I've become more involved in religious practices in general, from going a few times a year to Shabbat services. I attend at least every other week, if not more, and even sing out when I'm here. I feel like I've connected with more members of our congregation and feel that this is a spiritual family to which I belong. I think it's easy to feel this way when you have a clergy, as we do, that makes you feel at home, encourages people to take part in the myriad of activities offered, and takes a personal interest in each congregant. Really the best way to say it, and this is very important to me, when I'm with the clergy, when I'm at the services, it feels real. And I did not have that kind of experience necessarily in the past at other synagogues that I had been part of. So I want to share as an example, 2 weeks ago my daughter got married, and Cantor Goldman was officiating. She took the time to really get to know my daughter and husband-to-be. This simply does not happen at all synagogues, and it's really a wonderful thing. I hope to continue to help out with the temple community for years to come. I'd like to encourage people to get involved in any little way that's important to you. What you will get out of the experience, as I have, is more than you could possibly know. Thank you.